Hello and welcome to our discussion today. We'll be looking at the components of planning and control. And by the end of this discussion, you should be able to describe the planning process and types of strategic plans. Then you should also be able to examine control mechanisms that are mostly used. So we'll look at the financial, the operational, and then some strategic controls. So planning and control are very related. They are like siblings, right? So planning is the process of defining goals and determining the best strategies that will help to achieve those goals that you have defined. Okay. They serve as a foundation for making decisions and allocating resources in an organization, right? So, we said that if you would want to succeed as a business, then planning cannot be taken out. But you cannot just plan and leave it there just like that because you put together a plan, right? Then you are done. There's the need for control, right? And control ensures that the plans that you have put together are implemented effectively. Otherwise, you would have a nice plan in a nice document, but it would not really be of any benefit to the organization. So you control in a way that your plans are implemented effectively. So controlling involves monitoring, it involves evaluation. And then as you evaluate and monitor and you notice that there are discrepancies or you notice that things are not going the way you planned them, there'll be the need to adjust your processes so that you would achieve the desired outcomes. Okay. So in the planning process, you start with defining your objectives. We have done this already. All right. So you define the objectives, and we said that the objectives would have to be SMART. All right. So what does your organization want to achieve? How you want to achieve it, and then you make it SMART, right? You remember specific, it should be measurable, right? All of those realistic, it should be time bound. Your objectives should be SMART. Then you analyze the current situation of the organization. Okay, that's where we perform the external and internal scans. Okay, and you can use the SWOT analysis, which helps you to do both internal and external analysis. Otherwise, you can use the PESTEL for external, and then you can use the RBV for the internal. All right. But you have to analyze the current situation. Then you develop alternatives. So based on how you based on the results you came up with from your analysis, you develop alternatives. All right. And the strategic alternatives we looked at some time ago. Once you develop alternatives, this is not done and you as an individual, of course, as a group. Okay. So the team evaluates your alternatives. Then you evaluate the alternatives based on feasibility, based on costs, all right, based on how beneficial they will be to the organization. Then from your evaluation, you choose the best plan, which will help to achieve your objectives. Okay. So you choose the plan. And then once you select the plan, you implement it. Okay. Implementation requires that you allocate resources, let people know who is doing what. All right. So you allocate resources and then you communicate the roles to the various individuals. All right. Who would be implementing the strategies. And then during implementation, you have to monitor and adjust. Okay, so this is where control comes in. You monitor and adjust. As you monitor, if there are deviations, you have to ensure that there has been the adjustments that will put the team back on track. Okay, so basically this is the planning process. And like we said in the earlier part of this course, I think in our first discussion, we said there are different types of strategic plans. You have the corporate plans, you have the business unit plans, and then you have operational plans. The corporate plans are high-level strategic plans. Okay, they guide the overall activities of the organization. So this is where if you have to expand into new markets, if you have to diversify products, all right, this is where it comes to, all right. So you have the corporate plans. Then you have business unit plans, which focuses on the individual departments or the business units within the organization. Okay, I remember saying in the previous lesson that depending on how many products that the organization has, okay, they may um they may have that same number of business units. Okay, so for each business unit they will come up with their plans. Remember, though they have their individual plans, they should be able to work together as a team, okay, when it comes to some management activities. But we have the business unit plans. Okay, so the marketing team can have their plan that they work with. All right, other departments can have the plans that they work with. Then you have the operational plans. These are short-term plans and they are mostly day-to-day operational plans. They show how the organization should go about its daily activities. Okay, so daily activities, weekly activities, all of these are categorized under the operational plans. All right. So, like I said earlier, plans and controls, they go hand in hand. You can have a very good plan, but if you are not evaluating, if you are not monitoring, what will happen is that the plan will be implemented, but the results you desire may not be achieved. So, control mechanisms are tools and processes that are used to ensure that strategic plans are executed effectively. All right, so that what you have on paper is the same as what is playing out during implementation. Otherwise, what you have on paper would vary, right? Will vary from what is physically seen in your organization. So, control mechanisms help to monitor progress, they help to identify deviations from the plan, and they help to make necessary corrections that help you to stay on track. All right. So you have controls for finances. And the controls for finances help to ensure that your financial plans, all right, are met. Otherwise, every time a project is completed without controlling, you'll notice that the budget would have been exceeded. Okay, so there are tools that the finance guys use or the finance guys use to ensure that they control spending in the organization to ensure that the financial plans are achieved. One of such tools is the budget. The budget estimates income and expenditures to allocate resources effectively. So the budget most of the times is put together prior to a project or prior to an activity. So once the budget is put down, what it does is as the project is being implemented or as work goes on, the actual expenditure is you check the actual expenditure with what you have in your budget. So if you are spending more than you planned to spend, then it means there's a problem and you have to check it. Okay, so in that case, the budget becomes a control mechanism for the organization's finances. You also have financial statements which use profit and loss statements and balance sheets and cash flow reports to track the financial health of the organization. So for shareholders and for top management, most of the times they will check the books, all right? Check how the business is going, check the health, the financial health of the business from the financial reports. Okay, so from the reports, you can know whether the the business is going well, strategies are aligning, or some changes have to be made. All right. Then you also have cost analysis, which helps to evaluate operational costs against the profitability. So these cost analysis help the organizations to check how much you are spending as against the profits that you are making. Okay, so these tools help to control the finances of the organization. Then you have some operational controls. These controls ensure that the day-to-day operations of the organization align with the organizational objectives. Okay, remember that your objectives are SMART. And so if they are SMART, then it means they should be measurable. And if they are measurable, but your day-to-day operations are not aligning with your objectives, what it means is that it's only a matter of time and you'll notice that the objectives have not been met. So the some of the tools that are used to control operations, the first is the key performance indicators, or you call them the KPIs. All right. These have the metrics to assess the efficiency of operations. Okay, so for every organization, you go there and they're able to tell you maybe how many units they are able to produce for every day. All right, or how much time they use to produce some number of products. All of these are because they are KPIs. For every employee, there's a number, a minimum number you have to produce per day. So if you have not done that, it means that you are working below your target. There are maybe for some organizations, there are some number of wastes that they will accept. If it goes beyond that, then it means that you are causing losses to the operations department. So those are called the key performance indicators. You can have them for employees, you can have them for equipment, right? So for the equipment that are running, for the employees, all right, if you have an equipment, you want to know how much time it is available for use and how efficient it is. Okay, so the KPIs help you to measure the performance of your resources, okay, your human resources, technology, and other equipment. Then another tool you can use for control is the workflow analysis. And the workflow analysis help to examine the examine how you identify inefficiencies in your processes. Okay, so the workflow analysis makes you know the efficiency of equipment, how well people are working, how well machines are working. Is it that for every 3 hours that the machine works, it will break down? If it breaks down until the next day, you are not able to use it. You will be able to get to know You'll be able to know this from the workflow analysis, okay? So if you have equipment that are able to run smoothly for maybe an entire month, The only time you shut it down is where you have to do maintenance. Then it means that you are doing well. Okay. Then the third tool you can use is quality control. A lot of manufacturing companies have the quality control units. All right. And what they do is to ensure that the products that you are coming out with, they meet the standards. Okay, so the fact that you are producing or the fact that you are in business does not mean you should just do anything and put out there on the market. They implement the standards and they ensure that operators and employees are maintaining quality. They are maintaining product quality. They are working like they have to work, and they are producing the items like it's expected. Okay, so these are some of the operational controls. You have key performance indicators, the workflow analysis, and then quality control. Then you have strategic controls, which help organizations to align their activities. Activities are daily activities. So they help organizations to align their activities with the long-term strategic goals. So if you have a goal for like 10 years, how do you align your daily activities in a way that your 10-year objective or your 10-year vision or your 5-year goal or your 3-year goal will be achieved? Okay, so the first tool we have here is the balanced scorecard. And the balanced scorecard, it helps to track performance from different perspectives. So you can have a balanced scorecard from the financial perspective, from the customer's perspective, from the processes internally, all right, from learning or from the HR department based on what employees are doing or based on the trainings that they are giving to employees. Okay, so the balanced scorecards help to track performance. All right, and this performance is not specific to any department or to any group. It cuts across. So you can check the performance of the financial department. You can check the organization's finances. You can track relationship with customers. You can track employee development. Okay, from the scorecard. Then you also have benchmarking. Benchmarking helps organizations to check based on industry standards to see if they are meeting the requirements, right? So you check the company's performance and compare it with what the industry requires or what the standards are in that industry and see if your organization is meeting up with the expectations from the industry. And then you have performance reviews. Okay, we see this often in HR, right? Where annually employees are checked, all right, to ensure that they are really aligning with the strategies of the organization. All right. So you can have performance reviews for your resources, and this would help to know, or you would get to find out during these reviews. They will show you if your activities are aligning with your long-term strategic goals. So, like we have already said, planning and control, they are interrelated. Planning sets the direction for the organization. So, planning says where you are going to and how you get there. Control ensures that the direction to get there is followed. And control also ensures that the objective that has been set is achieved, right? So planning sets the objective and determines the direction to get there. Control ensures that you follow the direction to get to the objective, as well as ensure that the objectives are achieved. Okay. So during control, if for any reason you realize that the direction that you said you were going to take, you are not taking that direction, then there's the need to what? Take a corrective action. All right. So you plan, and then during implementation, as you monitor and control, you collect information from your monitoring, right? As you monitor, you're collecting information, and then you compare the information you have to what you planned. If there are differences, then you have to take corrective action, which requires that you plan again. So it's actually a cycle, right? Where you plan, you monitor, control. If there is the need, or if you realize that there are any discrepancies, you go back to replan. Okay. So basically, that's the connection between planning and control. So planning and control together help to align the organization's activities with the organizational goals. It helps to optimize resource use. It helps to identify risks early. Okay, you don't finish the work before you realize that, we have made a mistake. It helps you to identify the risks early and creates mitigation strategies. All right. It also ensures accountability and transparency. So, to conclude, we'll say that the planning process provides a structured approach to achieving your goals. You can have plans at the corporate level, the business level, and then at the operational level or the departmental level. The control mechanisms, which could be financial, operational, or strategic, ensure that you are able to successfully implement your plan. Okay. And then as you implement, if there are any deviations, you are quickly able to adapt or to correct based on the control mechanisms you have put in place. So together, planning and control drive organizational success. Right. So my questions for you, how can organizations balance detailed planning with flexibility? You are also to share examples of control mechanisms used effectively in some industries that you have come across. Okay, so at least one industry and the control mechanisms that have been used effectively in that industry. All right. We will discuss this further in class. Thank you all very much. We'll meet again in the next class. Bye for now.